What in the world is this machine? The unusual quad taillight design and the muscular fastback coupe shape give off a classic 70s muscle car vibe, but it feels smaller and more compact than its American counterparts. So, what are we really looking at here? This is a Mazda RX-4, known in some markets as the Mazda 929. This car was a fascinating product of the 1970s and a showcase for Mazda's most famous innovation, the Wankel rotary engine. While the rest of the world was building cars with conventional pistons, Mazda invested heavily in this unique engine design, which used spinning rotors to generate power. The result was an engine that was incredibly small, lightweight, and smooth, allowing it to rev to very high RPMs. The RX-4 was one of Mazda's more luxurious rotary-powered cars, blending sporty, American-inspired Coke bottle styling with the high-tech buzz of its unique powertrain. It was a bold statement from a company determined to carve its own path in the automotive world. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? It has the stunning, dramatic style of a 1930s Mercedes-Benz 540K, one of the most beautiful cars ever made. But the modern license plate raises a question. Is this a real multi-million-dollar classic, or something else entirely? While it captures the breathtaking style of the original, this is a high-quality replica, most likely a Heritage 500K. The original Mercedes-Benz 500K and 540K models from the 1930s were masterpieces of engineering and art, owned by royalty and Hollywood stars. Today, they are among the most valuable cars in the world, often selling for many millions of dollars at auction. Because of this, a number of companies in the 70s and 80s, like Heritage, began producing replicas. These cars used a modern chassis and powertrain, often from a Ford or GM, and topped it with a fiberglass body that faithfully recreated the stunning lines of the original. This allowed enthusiasts to experience the head-turning glamour of a pre-war classic, without the astronomical cost and mechanical complexity of a genuine artifact. What happens when a car company dares to dream? This enormous American coupe is defined by one of the most dramatic designs ever put into production, a massive, pointed boat-tail rear end with a huge wraparound window. Was this a custom build, a concept car, or did a major brand actually sell this? This stunning car is a production vehicle, the 1971-1973 Buick Riviera, famously known as the boat tail. This design was a final, glorious statement from the legendary GM designer Bill Mitchell before his retirement. He was deeply inspired by the dramatic, swept-back styling of 1930s classics like the Auburn boat-tail Speedster and wanted to bring that sense of theater to a modern car. It was a moment of pure automotive artistry during an era when safety regulations and the looming fuel crisis were beginning to homogenize car design. While its radical and polarizing look meant it was only produced for 3 years, the boat-tail Riviera has since become a celebrated icon of early 70s American automotive exuberance and a high watermark for daring, unforgettable style. What in the world is this machine? Based on a dream, the drawing shows a boxy 80s hatchback with 4 square headlights, similar to a Renault 5 GT, but slightly different. Is there a real-life car that matches this distinct memory of a European hot hatch? The car that most closely matches this description is the legendary Peugeot 205 GTI. For an entire generation of car enthusiasts in the 1980s, this was the definitive hot hatchback. While the Volkswagen Golf GTI may have invented the category, many argue that the Peugeot 205 GTI perfected it. It was incredibly lightweight, agile, and had a raw, unfiltered connection to the road that made it an absolute joy to drive. Its design was a masterpiece of 80s chic, perfectly proportioned and effortlessly cool. The later models featured the distinctive quad headlight setup seen in the drawing. The 205 GTI is often hailed as one of the greatest driver's cars of all time, a high point for the Peugeot brand and a symbol of the golden age of the hot hatch. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? Spotted at an import dealer in Texas, this tiny mid-engine convertible is a mystery. It's far too small to be a typical sports car. What is this funky little machine, and where did it come from? This is the fantastic Honda Beat, a perfect example of Japan's special K-car class. K-cars are a category of small vehicles in Japan that get tax and insurance benefits for staying within strict size and engine displacement limits, no more than 660 cc. In the early 90s, during Japan's bubble economy, automakers created incredible high-tech sports cars within these tiny regulations. The Honda Beat was one of the most advanced, featuring a high-revving, three-cylinder engine with individual throttle bodies, technology usually reserved for exotic supercars. It was also the last car to be personally approved for production by the company's founder, Soichiro Honda. The Beat is a marvel of packaging and engineering, a tiny, joyous sports car that proves fun isn't dependent on size. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? This funky vehicle looks like a strange blend of a classic 80s sedan and a rugged little SUV. The boxy shape and quirky details are truly unique. Was this a failed prototype or a specialized vehicle built for a single, bizarre purpose? This is the wonderfully quirky Nissan Rasheen. Sold exclusively in Japan from 1994 to 2000, the Rasheen was a pioneer of the crossover SUV concept, long before it became a global phenomenon. In an era when SUVs were mostly large truck-based vehicles, Nissan created something different. They took the platform of a Nissan Sunny sedan and gave it a rugged, boxy body, all-wheel drive, and increased ground clearance. The design was intentionally utilitarian and almost industrial, with exposed hinges and simple, functional lines. It was marketed as a four-wheel drive vehicle for all aspects of life, perfect for city driving during the week and light outdoor adventures on the weekend. The Rasheen was a charming, ahead-of-its-time vehicle that predicted the future of the automotive market. What in the world is this machine? It's clearly a very old Ford, but the body is made of wood, with open sides and simple bench seats. It looks like a cross between a car and a horse-drawn carriage. What is this strange and wonderful vehicle? This is a Ford Model T depot hack. In the early days of the automobile, you didn't always buy a complete car from the factory. Often, you would buy a rolling chassis, the frame, engine, and wheels from Ford, and then have a custom body built by a separate company known as a coach builder. A depot hack was a specific style of vehicle designed to do one job: transport people and their luggage from the train depot to their hotel. They were the original airport shuttles. Their simple, open-sided wooden bodies were cheap to build and easy to maintain. This particular style of vehicle is the direct ancestor of the modern station wagon, which even kept the woody aesthetic for decades as a tribute to its utilitarian roots. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? Found inside an old barn, this classic sedan has a distinctive feature: small, subtle tail fins on the rear fenders. It's clearly a Mercedes-Benz, but from what era? This barn find is a Mercedes-Benz W110, produced from 1961 to 1968. This model is affectionately known by its German nickname, the Heckflosse, which translates to fintail. In the late 1950s, American cars with huge, dramatic tail fins were all the rage, and this trend influenced designers worldwide. The W110 was Mercedes' much more subtle and restrained take on the fashion. But more importantly, these cars were pioneers in automotive safety. The fintail models were among the very first cars in the world to be designed with front and rear crumple zones, a concept developed by Mercedes engineer Bela Baregni. This design allowed the ends of the car to absorb impact in a crash, protecting the rigid central passenger cell. It was a landmark car that combined modest style with revolutionary safety technology. What in the world is this machine? Spotted at a Tokyo intersection, this long, boxy sedan has the classic proportions of a luxury car from the 80s or 90s, but its specific identity is a mystery. What is this piece of Japanese automotive history? This is a Nissan Laurel, most likely a C33 model from the late 80s to early 90s. For decades, the Laurel was a key player in the Japanese domestic market, positioned as a slightly more luxurious and stylish sedan than the mainstream Bluebird, but just below the top-tier Cedric. The C33 generation is particularly beloved by enthusiasts today. It was a pillarless hardtop sedan, meaning there was no B-pillar between the front and rear side windows, creating a clean, open, and elegant look, when all the windows were down. More importantly, it shared its rear-wheel drive platform and excellent inline-six engines with the famous Nissan Skyline and Silvia, making it a popular and capable base for tuning and drifting, a true sleeper sedan. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? Spotted at a gas station in Tokyo, this is clearly a modern supercar. The sleek, flowing lines are less aggressive than some of its rivals, suggesting a different purpose. It has hints of a McLaren, but which one is it? This is the McLaren GT. For years, McLaren Automotive, born from the legendary Formula One team, focused exclusively on building the sharpest, fastest, and most track-focused supercars in the world. With the GT, however, they decided to tackle a different challenge: the Grand Tourer. A Grand Tourer is a car designed for high-speed, long-distance travel in comfort and style. The McLaren GT still has the brand's signature carbon fiber chassis and a powerful mid-mounted V8 engine, giving it incredible performance. But it also features a more compliant suspension for a smoother ride, more luggage space, and a more luxurious interior. It was McLaren's answer to competitors like Aston Martin and Bentley, proving they could build a car that was not only thrilling on a racetrack, but also comfortable enough to cross a continent. What in the world is this weird car? It has the front end of an Audi A5 coupe, but the body of a station wagon. This combination doesn't seem to exist in any official lineup. Was this a bizarre prototype, a custom build, or something else entirely? This is not a factory model, but a fantastic custom creation. An enthusiast has taken the sleek, sporty front end from an Audi A5 coupe and meticulously grafted it onto the body of an Audi A4 Avant, Audi's name for a station wagon. This type of conversion is a labor of love, requiring immense skill in bodywork and fabrication to make the different panels line up perfectly. The result is a car that Audi never built, but perhaps should have, a what-if creation that combines the aggressive styling of the A5 with the practicality of the A4 Avant. It's a testament to the passion and creativity within the car community, where owners are willing to go to extraordinary lengths to build the unique vehicle of their dreams. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? Spotted in Denver, this bizarre little pickup looks like an American version of a Subaru Brat. It's a small, car-based trucklet, a type of vehicle that has almost vanished. So, what is this forgotten machine? This is the Dodge Rampage, a quirky and short-lived vehicle produced for only 3 years, from 1982 to 1984. It was a direct response to the success of other small car-based pickups, like the VW Rabbit pickup and the Subaru Brat. Based on Chrysler's front-wheel drive L-body platform, which it shared with the Dodge Omni and Charger, the Rampage was an attempt to offer a fuel-efficient utility vehicle during a time of high gas prices. It offered the comfortable ride of a car with the practicality of a small open bed. However, it never sold in large numbers and was quickly overshadowed by the growing popularity of compact, body-on-frame pickup trucks from Japanese manufacturers. The Rampage remains a fascinating and rare footnote in automotive history. What in the world is this machine? It looks like the designers took a normal car, chopped the entire back half off with a straight line, and just stopped. It's one of the most unconventional shapes ever sold. Was this a bizarre custom job, or did a major company actually sell this? This is the one and only AMC Gremlin. And yes, a major American company really sold it. Launched on April Fool's Day 1970, the Gremlin was America's first modern subcompact car designed to fight the rising tide of imports like the VW Beetle. Its infamous and abrupt camback design wasn't just a styling choice, it was a clever cost-saving measure. The Gremlin was based on the larger AMC Hornet, but with the wheelbase and rear end drastically shortened. This allowed American Motors Corporation to get the car to market quickly and cheaply. While often the butt of jokes for its quirky looks, it was a surprisingly successful car for the underdog automaker, perfectly capturing the unconventional spirit of the 1970s. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? It has the classic proportions of a British sports car, but with a sleek, fastback roofline instead of a convertible top, giving it the look of a miniature Grand Tourer. What is this stylish coupe? This is the MG BGT, a car that brought exotic Italian styling to the masses. By the mid-1960s, the MGB Roadster was already a huge success. MG wanted to create a more refined, all-weather version and turned to the famous Italian design house, Pininfarina. The result was this beautiful greenhouse roofline that transformed the little sports car into a sophisticated and practical hatchback coupe. The new roof made the car more aerodynamic and structurally rigid, and the rear hatch added a level of practicality that the Roadster lacked. The MG BGT was an instant hit, offering the style and feel of a much more expensive European Grand Tourer at a price ordinary people could afford, and it remains a beloved classic today. So, which car surprised you the most today? Drop your answer in the comments and share this to challenge another car lover. For more incredible automotive finds every week, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a mystery. Keep searching the back roads.